My name is Austin Weeks, and my presentation was on Google Maps. Google Maps is a web mapping service. It offers street maps, 360-degree panoramic views of the street, which is like the street view where you can view houses and businesses, real-time traffic conditions, route planning, which is like the standard GPS that we're all used to using, and Google Maps API, which allows third-party websites to integrate Google Maps onto their websites. Google Maps was introduced in a blog post in February of 2005. At the time, mapping solutions were expensive. They required their own mapping servers and they just didn't have very good interactivity. And Google Maps brought a solution to all of that. It was developed by two brothers, Lars and Jens Rosselman. They were Danish, um, and they were also co-founders of Where2 Technologies. This company was solely dedicated to mapping solutions, and in October of 2004, Google purchased um, Where2 Technologies, and after the purchase, the two brothers created Google Maps for Google. Um, Google Maps is compromised using was it was made using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Um, on the service end, the user end uses XML and Ajax. Um, when you're on the maps and you go to new parts on the maps and the tiles appear and then the images load, that's using Ajax calls to return those images. Same thing is used with like Street View. You use Ajax to get the images from the database and servers and brings it to you. Google Maps also offers API, which is Application Programming Interface, and that's what I mentioned before, where it allows for the third-party websites to integrate Google Maps onto their websites, and also um, the API allows users to upgrade information on Google Maps. Important dates and upgrades. In January, well, there are many dates and many upgrades of that come from Google Maps through the years. But these three really stood out to me. Um, January 29, 2007, local universal results were upgraded and more data included in the main Google result page were included in the main Google results page. Um, this is where you start to see when you Google a business and Google Maps reviews pop up. Google Maps offers you directions, tells you the opening and closing times, etc., etc. And that was in January. That was on January 29th, 2007, where that that data really emerged. On June 19, 2007, reviews are allowed on Google Maps. Like when you search up a business and you see the reviews, that's when that started. April 8, 2011, Google announced that it would be charging for API usage by commercial sites over a limit. A good example of this is Panera Bread. Their delivery services, they use Google Maps. When Panera Bread receives a delivery through Google Maps, the distance of the delivery is calculated. It also gives you directions, etc., etc. And I'm sure with that much usage of the service from the Panera on the Panera website would put them over this limit. And it's like an example of Google charging a, a website or even a company for their services. Um, Issues with Google Maps. Map data, geographical locations sometimes are wrong. An example of this was seen in Wisconsin, where Google Maps labeled a lake in the state, a popular lake. Google Maps labeled it Dawson Lake, but the actual name of the lake was Scattered Rice Lake. Another example was in 2011, Google Maps mislabeled the entire length of US Route 30 Um, they mislabeled as far from Astoria, Oregon to Atlantic City, New Jersey. So anybody using the route planner at that time that was traveling on US 30, their estimated time was off. Um, Another issue with Google Maps is business listings. Sometimes things get integrated or overlapped. Businesses sometimes enter similar information, and that makes the database confuse the business. And you might search for a business and get a business that's thousands of miles away from you. Um, Google Maps also has imagery issues. The most common issue is out of date images. Sometimes things have been built, sometimes things have been torn down. But since Google has hired people to handle these types of changes in certain areas and whatnot, and these are my references. Um, the most important one was the first one. It was an entire book dedicated to Google Maps and its usage. Um, Hope y'all enjoy it.